Good evening, dandies. Welcome to Undetermined, the podcast.
Woohoo! It's been a while, man.
Yay! It's been a while.
How you feeling?
Better. I had the shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, for anybody listening, I got the vid. The Rona. Whatever, I don't know what we're calling it now.
How was it?
It kind of sucked.
Yeah.
You know, one of the weirdest things about it was when I felt like I was getting sick, I swear to God, my arm hurt in the same spot that I got my shots.
That's weird.
That is fucking weird. And I mean, I wasn't feeling bad at all. And then like I had this pain in my arm. And I really just thought I was like, okay, well, I slept on it wrong, because I could sleep pretty hard and I'm like laying on my side or whatever. And I thought, well, maybe I slept on my arm wrong, but it felt like it was like in that area. And I was like, well, what the fuck, and I tried to stretch it out and stuff. And I was like, kind of sore there. But then really the only reason I tested was because I knew that I was a close contact for somebody else. I really wasn't feeling sick. Like at all, but I knew I was close contact with like two other people. So I was like, well, fuck, I'm maybe, feeling a little sniffly, a little bit, I always feel like shit. I don't know, I'm getting old and it's winter, so I just figured whatever. But you can get at-home tests now and, stuck it up my nose and in my throat. Well, I did my throat first. If that's any consolation, anybody. But I did. I put it in my throat and then in my nose and did a little vial thing, mixed it up in there and shit. And like squirted on the thing. And it was like, sure enough, it's like both lines. Psh, psh. It's like, fuck. I got it. Got the vids.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
It was
wonder
scary.
Every time, like I have I bet.
You might have had it.
I bet.
Honestly.
It's possible. I wonder every time I like get lethargic or, my throat's a little bit sore, but that's also like, I get that shit all the time.
Right. Oh, you may be tired.
What in my life would make me tired?
You may be tired. You may be sleepy. It's like, I'm always fucking tired. I'm always had a cold. I always feel like shit. I don't know. That's exactly how I felt about it. And then once I got it, I was like, oh, yep, that's me. I think the biggest thing that sucked was just, I didn't feel that bad, but I happen to wear like a mask around my house.
Yeah.
And stay like upstairs and away from everybody and like quarantine myself so nobody else would catch it. Yeah. It was probably the worst part. Because it's like, oh, here I've got 5 days off because I'm being quarantined. And then, but they're not fun days off. It's not like you get to go to fucking Disneyland. You got to stay in your bed and away from everyone.
Right. That sounds way better than it actually is when you're in that position.
Right. It's just like going to the hospital. Oh, that sounds great. And no, it's not.
Every time I'm sick, I like fight it and I have to get up and, afterwards I'm like, why didn't I just go with this? I should have just let my wife take care of me, but I fucking hate it when I'm in that position.
Right. And it's never good. I never did really feel that sick though. Overall, nothing else really significant. So thankful for that. And, over it. I think I'm over it. I'm testing negative now, so that's good.
That's a good sign. Well, I'm glad you got through it. I'm feeling kind of like the guy in Squid Game.
Yeah.
Like everybody else has gone down. I'm still here.
Right.
Wish I had a big cash prize.
Like the Matrix. Reflecting bullets.
Well, that's been fun to talk about.
Yeah.
Uh,
Here's the thing that really pisses me off, and I won't talk about where I work, but they took away COVID sick days in September.
why the fuck would they do that?
I don't know. Probably because of Governor Parsons. But the thing is, okay, I called into work and said, I've tested positive for COVID, right? Here's the deal. And I won't throw my employer under the bus or anything else like that. But I told them I have tested positive for COVID. They said, okay, go home. I said, well, I'm home, but they said, stay home. I said, okay. And I'll wait for you guys to call me. So the contact tracing people called me from the county, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh, okay, so who you been in contact with at work? And I was like, everybody I know, everybody I work with, all the students that I have, everything else, they've all been all over me. And, if anybody has it, they all have it. And if I didn't catch it from them, and I never go anywhere, so I'm sure I probably caught it from one of them who was sick.
Right.
And they were like, okay, well, you can return to work like next Tuesday. This was like a Thursday. They're like, you can return to work next Thursday or next Tuesday. I was like, after this sickness on Thursday. Actually, let me back it up a little bit. The Thursday that I called in to work, there was ice all over the roads one morning, right?
Yeah, I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, this fucking sucked. All right, this is a crazy story. So I'm driving my truck. I've got this old Silverado pickup, right? Driving onto South 63 Highway from Columbia, Missouri to Jeff City, Missouri. I get, okay, you know how like you go off of an off-ramp, in the city, and you go off the off-ramp and you go onto the highway.
Right.
You don't have a choice when you come off of an off-ramp but to switch lanes.
Right.
Because the off-ramp lane ends, and you have to go over into the other lane. So I'm going like maybe 20, 25 miles an hour tops because there's a dusting of like ice and snow all over the road. And I'm doing so. And as I cross over into the lane, luckily I leave super stupid fucking early in the morning. And as I'm leaving, my truck goes down this ramp. I get onto the middle of the road, and I just, as I kind of like go over, and I'm from Northern Illinois, right? I'm used to snow and ice, and I'm used to driving on it. But my truck is just rear-wheel drive. It's not front-wheel drive or anything. It's not four-wheel. And I just go to like switch over to the other lane at like 20, 25 miles an hour. My fucking rear end just goes sideways.
Just drifts.
Across. Yeah, just drifts. I mean, there's nothing I can do. I
That's
don't pump
scary.
the brakes. I don't panic. I don't do shit. And it's just going wide. And I'm like, fuck. I mean, there's nothing I can do. And I'm just holding on for dear life, and I'm steering against it, Next thing I know, I'm in the ditch that goes across the highway.
Fuck.
Oof, I go through the fucking ditch. And luckily, I mean, I don't know if anybody's driven through ditches in Missouri, but like there could be a giant fucking boulder like right there. There could be a culvert.
Those like the cables.
Right. Any of that shit can be there at any time. And it's not like they like, oh, let's make sure the ditch is fine for anybody to go up into the other lane of traffic. No. Just luckily for me, it was a pretty smooth little kind of prairie area.
Right.
I mean, when it went all the way across the fucking highway, went up into the northbound lane and across the highway and came up on the other side with my tail end switching right around, going up into the northbound lane, came up on the other side of the highway, could see cars coming from the northbound lane, maybe about 500 yards down the way.
Jesus.
And I just fucking gunned it. And because they weren't anywhere near me, and took back off, and I got on the north side, lane, gunned it up there, and just to, keep from going off way down the other side.
Right.
and stay on the side of the road. Did so, went back up the exit I just came out, but the other side of the exit.
Sure.
Drove up there, and I was like, fuck. I mean, I even posted on Facebook. I was like, well, I finally figured out what my last words are going to be in a car accident.
Right.
They literally were, oh shit. Well, that's it. Because that's what I said, and I thought for sure I was dead, because all it would have taken is just a little bit more momentum and that truck would have flipped. So I wound up in the northbound end of the highway, went back up the intersection, went back up the off ramp, drove up on there, went to the gas station, and checked out my truck. I was like, okay, everything's fine. Everything's okay. It's covered in mud,
Right.
It's like, well, fuck, I'm going to get gas. I'm going to stop here. I'm just going to take a drink of coffee. I'm going to relax. Did so. It's like, I'm probably going to be about 20 minutes late to work. So I take it real easy, going like 10 miles an hour back out to the highway. I'm like, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm just going to fucking take it really slow. If it takes me an hour to get to work, it takes me an hour to get to work. I don't give a shit.
Right. Same ramp.
Yeah, same ramp. I go down the same ramp, go over and down. I'm going like 10, 15 miles an hour, super slow. Get at the same spot. Did it again.
Jesus.
The same fucking spot. Just as soon as I'm trying, just I went through the ditch, up and out the other side, went up the fucking other side. And luckily, actually, this time there were cars closer to me, coming to me. And I thought I was really going to get hit. Went up and around. And when I went up the exit ramp on the northbound lane to come back, truck's just fishtailing, just all over the place. And I was like, fuck this. I'm going home.
Yeah.
I was like, it's not worth it to me. If I do this a third time, I'm going to die. Called into work and said, I can't make it. I just can't make it. Boss was like, well, we get it. We heard that there was more snow up your way and more ice up your way. So just stay home. We'll give you a personal day. Like, well, no, you'll take personal day. That's what you're going to do. You're going to take it away from me. You don't give me shit.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's probably the case. And at the same time, some people who work for me were like, there's COVID going around all the place. I think you should check yourself. You're like coughing and stuff the other day. I was like, yeah, I will. So I tested myself when I got home. I had a test at home and I was positive. So I was like, well, so much for the personal day. I have COVID. So give me a COVID day.
Mm-hmm.
So I was dealing with all that. Almost killed myself twice on the highway. Ended up having COVID the same day. And it was a shit day.
That's not a great day.
It's not a great one. No.
No.
Doing worse, though. Didn't die in any of that. Still here.
You got walked away from it.
Yeah.
I've had some scary driving incidents that were not fun.
Have you ever gone through a ditch like that?
I've not gone through a ditch like that. I've had like an incident where, the bridge, if you're on Broadway coming into Westport from downtown in Kansas City.
Yeah.
It's kind of over by like Union Station.
Mm-hmm.
I was coming home from work and fortunately the roads were empty and I did just a complete like 360 and that was kind of scary.
Oh, shit.
It's a bridge.
Yeah. And if the road is open, you're fine. But you don't know who you're going to run into or who's,
Exactly. I was just like, thank God there were no other cars.
Yeah, that's the way I felt about it. Oh.
Then the time I got smashed up real good.
Yeah.
Told you this story. The totally just wasted dude that rear-ended me.
Yeah, when you got rear-ended, yeah.
And like, that doesn't sound bad, just describing it that way. But the dude, there was a traffic jam on the highway. This is like the middle of the night. I just worked like a long gig. DJing, and it was like not a great gig. Like there was this really drunk girl that kept hitting on me that I didn't want her attention. And I just was just happy to get away from there. I'm in the car. I'm like, all right, I'm just going to take it easy. I'm going to drive home. I'm going to take the long way home. I'm not going to decompress for the drive.
Right.
So I'm driving, and then on the highway, there's a traffic jam. Okay, it's cool. It's cool. I'm just going to I'm going to sit here, and I'll just wait for it to pass. And then I hear behind me, and everything just goes into slow motion, and you see like lights coming at you.
Shit.
And it's just like real quickly you assess there's no fucking way that car is going to stop without hitting me.
Right. That's the thing.
And fortunately for me, I was just like, okay, there's nothing I can do about this. Absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
That I can do about this.
Yeah.
I might as well just, deep breath, relax.
Yeah. And I wonder about that. I wonder about that when people say things like when they're going to die, it's like my life flashed before my eyes. And it's like, I've heard that. That's never happened to me. I've been in a lot of like near death.
I have had that happen to me, a different incident.
Have you?
I have.
Oh, well, let me say what I'm saying, and then I'll have you explain. But like I've heard that told me, like I saw my life flash before my eyes, and I've heard that said by many people. I've been in a lot of situations where I have nearly died and saw death coming, like imminent, and escaped it by inches. There's been probably two or three instances of that in my life, but I never really saw like me blowing out birthday candles when I was 5. I'm like, not the way like movies depict it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That's like, and there I was at my wedding, and there I wasn't, I just saw my. No, it was just like, now I have had time stand still.
Mm-hmm.
And this is kind of what happened last week. Time stood still. Everything stopped around me except for me focusing on me around me in my car and saying, well, fuck, it's over.
Yeah.
Because I thought for sure once I went in that ditch, I thought that truck's just going to, tumble and it's going to take my head off, as they do. I mean, in a lot of cases, I've seen a lot of mangled trucks in the ditch on that highway, but it didn't happen. I came out the other side and things certainly have slowed down, but I've never had that kind of experience. Like I say, last week, it was just a course of like, well, that's fucking it. It's over. This is the big one.
Yep.
But I never really felt that way. What was it like, though, when you say your life flashes in front of you or,
So this was, God, I was probably like 12 years old.
Uh-huh.
I was painting or spreading spackle on the ceiling or something. I was on a ladder. I remember that. I was at a ladder in our bathroom, and I lost my balance and fell off. And like as I was falling, it was kind of like somebody went through like a picture album of your life, just like still shots. It just shot through my head really fast. It was like hundreds of still shots that just went through my head like in an instant.
Weird.
It shook me up.
Yeah. Did you lose like your voice and your internal voice that was saying, oh, fuck, I'm falling? Or, did that?
Yeah, I don't remember. That was like that was the most profound part.
Yeah.
I don't remember that part. I mean, I think I was probably scared while I was falling, but I remember just seeing all of these images. Just it was really weird. Just went by in a second.
Huh. That's strange.
Yeah.
That's strange. I've been in some traumatic shit, man. I mean, well,
Yeah.
At least 2 or 3 things that I've been through that's been super fucking traumatic. Even given me a PTSD diagnosis as a result. But that's never happened to me. I mean, I do understand the concept of time stands still. I do understand the concept of everything being frozen or just the concept of like everything feeling like it's closing in on you.
Yeah. When I was in the wreck, that was what it was like.
Yeah, I never had visions of like my life throughout or like, previous events that happened or my family or extended people. It was just like, more just like hyperventilating and oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck, oh fuck. And everything stops, time stops. It definitely did for me on that.
Yeah.
Did you hear about how Bob Saget died? Did you hear that in the news today?
I just saw that he hit his head. I didn't really read any of the article, though. I just saw the headline.
Just fucking bumped his head. According to the autopsy report, everything else, he didn't, like, there were no drugs or alcohol involved, anything else like that. The best that the coroner could muster was just the idea that he was in his very neatly kept, nice hotel room, everything else. They think that at some point in time during his stay in the hotel room, he bumped his head really hard and didn't think anything of it and was just like, ow, and went to bed and fucking died.
Weird.
Just like a concussion. Like they tell you, if you're concussed, you don't sleep. You're supposed to stay up and make sure you can get all your shit together and, you can count backwards from 50 or whatever. And I think that, who knows? Maybe he like got out of the bathtub and like slipped and bang, hit his head and thought, ow, and then just laid down, went to bed, and that's what fucking killed him.
Right. I probably would do that too. I'd be like, I'm going to sleep it off.
Oh, fuck. I don't know how many times I've like bashed my head into something.
Oh, yeah.
Even seen stars and been like, oh, fuck, ow. And then just carried on, But if it would have been right before bed, I'd have done the same thing.
Yep.
Wouldn't think anything of it, especially if there was no like blood pouring out of my head or whatever.
Right. I'm like, yeah, ibuprofen. Yeah. I'm going to go to bed.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have thought twice about it.
Nope. Killed his ass.
That's scary.
It is scary. Scary and it sucks. And rest in peace, Bob Saget. Great entertainer.
Yep.
Rest in peace, Bob. And shit.
Yep.
But man, yeah, that also just gives you chills just thinking about that. Just like I don't think I would have ever done anything about it. If I hit my head that hard, I don't think I would have ever.
Right. My wife would be like, you need to go see someone. No.
Fuck.
I'm just going to have a headache. I've had headaches.
Just going to make a bologna sandwich, go to bed. I'll be good.
Yep.
Yeah. Fucking dead as a doornail next day.
Well, that's depressing.
Yeah. What other depressing shit do we want to talk about?
There's always depressing shit.
Always.
Yeah.
I was just reading a thing earlier today about the custom of the sea. You ever heard this phrase?
The
custom of the sea, which I thought would make a great album title, is the idea that sailors have been using for like thousands of years as they have taken on the endeavor of sailing. There's always an underlying idea that if you run out of food and water on a ship or anything else, that there's kind of a hierarchy of cannibalism. So I guess for like thousands of years, I mean, ever since the Roman Empire, the Egyptians, everybody else, there's always been this kind of this undertone or this unspoken kind of rule that, if you're ever adrift at sea, if you're ever lost at sea, and you run out of food and water, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, like you may have to resort to cannibalism. And how do you do this in a dignified way?
Mm-hmm.
Known as the custom of the sea. So traditionally, from what I hear, it was the invention of drawing straws.
Mm-hmm.
So, shortest straw, of course, you're the one they're going to eat first. Second shortest straw, you're the butcher. And so on and so forth. And then the rest of the straws are normal.
Mm-hmm.
but it would have to get down to like 5 or 6 people. But usually the captain initiates the conversation, right? Says, okay, we have to discuss this. We're starving. There's no fresh water. There's no, and apparently what they do for a while is like eat shoe leather is one thing for the salt.
Mm-hmm.
And the skin that's in the shoes will provide a little bit of protein, not much.
Right.
And then when they run out of water, what would you think the first thing is they drink when they run out of water?
Blood, urine,
Piss. Yep, urine.
Yeah.
Urine's the thing they all go for, and they swap it. Usually, typically, they don't drink their own urine because they think that it won't necessarily give them any nutrients, but they do think that taking somebody else's urine will give them nutrients. So they drink each other's piss for a while, which, I mean, how do you think that goes for hydration? Doesn't work, right?
Right.
So the next idea is, what do they drink? Blood, right? So blood of a person. If somebody dies naturally on the ship, that's fine. But what if everybody is just steadily starving to death at the same rate, and nobody dies before anybody else? What are you going to do? Well, you got to kill one of them.
Right. Someone's got to take one for the team.
Right. So somebody's got to take one for the team. They draw lots to see who that's going to be. And apparently around like the mid like 1700s, the idea was that they drew these lots, and this had been something that had been so common for sailors throughout the year. I mean, it's not like it happened like every week. It's not like, hey, let's go drink each other's piss and kill each other.
Yeah, but I'm sure it happened a lot.
Yeah, it does happen quite a bit. It's sort of like I say, an unspoken rule. It's, as they call it, enough to where they gave it the name, the custom of the sea, right?
Right.
So they still kind of know that this is in the back of their mind no matter what. And I mean, ships sink all the time. People die all the time, and they get used to this idea. And the funny thing is, it was like around the early 1800s, I guess, England and a couple other like westernized nations got on this idea that people who ever went through this needed to be prosecuted, for this, because they're murdering people on the high seas. But I just thought it interesting that it's like, okay, if you're on the high seas, this happens to you. You have no food. You have no water. You're on a lifeboat with like 8 cats, right? And I was thinking to myself, like, how long do you think you could go starving, let's say days, without thinking about killing and eating another human being? What do you think?
That's so hard to know. That's because it's hard to imagine with a rational mind what your irrational mind will come up with.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yes, but hunger is a hell of a fucking thing.
It is.
Right? And I wouldn't, I mean, if there were prosecutors like during the 1800s who wanted to try these guys for murder for doing such a thing, even like apparently this one case I read was about a cabin boy who had been drinking salt water in the night to try to quench his thirst, which of course is just going to kill you faster.
Right.
That's what he was actually dying a lot faster than anybody else was. And they were in a lifeboat, but they were from a sunken ship, and they were waiting and waiting and waiting for people to come save them. Never happened, of course. And they were like, okay, we're going to give it 2 more days. If nobody shows up, we've got to involve ourselves in the custom of the sea, right? And the captain talked about it first, of course. They all agreed, et cetera, et cetera. But the one guy who was supposed to die, the cabin boy, had been drinking seawater, didn't die yet, but he was on his fucking deathbed. They ended up cutting his head off, or slicing his throat and killing him. So they wanted to try, when they got back to England and they survived the encounter, they actually got rescued. But many days later, like they would not have survived if they didn't eat this dude.
Right.
Like there's no chance they would have lived if they didn't eat him and drink his blood for sustenance. But I mean, it's just like I always thought about the alive situation, with those guys in a plane crash in the Andes, the soccer players,
Right.
You're hungry. You're starving to death. Your body will not allow you not to eat the dead. It wouldn't.
No.
That's meat. I mean, here in our Western culture, we think, we're a bit hungry, but I can pass time. Yeah, you wanted a burrito before.
Right. Well, we've never known it. Like it's like if you've not been in that situation, you can't judge it.
No.
And that's kind of where I stand. Like I can't judge it. I can see brutality and all sorts of awful, just bad conditions bring awful results.
Yeah.
That's just kind of the way of the world, really. I'd be crying the entire time.
Well, yeah.
Right, but I can't say that I wouldn't do it.
You wouldn't be happy about it.
No, I'd fucking hate myself.
Sure. Yeah, and when you got back home, you'd probably drink yourself to death, even if you survived, trying to cope with the nightmare that you went through.
Yeah.
But I don't know that anybody could. I think, in honesty, I think it would take a much stronger person to starve themselves to death rather than eat like an offered piece of meat, even if it was human meat.
Yeah.
When you're when you haven't eaten in like 9 days, 10 days, 12 days. Because, we think about how it is to even just get a little peckish.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like, fuck, I'm grumpy. Boy, I can stand something to eat. And that goes on for fucking, a week.
You're weak and tired and hungry and
exhausted, no land in sight, everything else like that. The funny thing is, like, there were so many people who, like, lived in England who wanted to pardon these guys entirely. We're like, fuck no, it's not their fault. That's how it goes out on the sea.
I would have been on that side.
Well, yeah, absolutely. I just wonder what side it would have been on that boat.
Yeah.
How much longer I would have held out. Would I have been the guy to say, one more day, just one more day? When they were like, 2 days, and that's it. I don't know. It's a crazy thing about him being human. And I've always thought that was weird. Just how much we need sleep and food. And, these things that seem just so arbitrary to our existence. But they're not, are they?
No.
Totally necessary.
They're pretty important.
Yeah.
I don't understand the people, and I know it's like a exotic, and you can actually apparently get it if you really try, and if you want to eat human flesh, like there are ways to do it. I don't understand the people who are like, yeah, I'm going to fork out a buttload of cash so I can taste what someone tastes like.
Why are we so expensive?
I don't know.
We're everywhere. You'd think human flesh should be like cheaper than like lobster. Those are hard to find.
Oh.
We're fucking everywhere. I don't know.
I don't know either.
I did read a story on the internet about a guy who had his foot amputated. It was turning into a really gross, fucking weird episode. But he got his leg amputated, or like it was half of his leg. And he was diabetic, I think, and had like a sore in his toe or something. So like they cut his toe, but they were like, oh, we're going to have to amputate and have his leg. I knew he was a biker from what I understood, and knew some like kind of, free thinking, freewheeling people.
Mm-hmm.
And had half his leg amputated, and he asked the doctor, he's like, can I keep it? And the doctor's like, I don't give a shit, it's your leg. If you really want it, Like, we're probably just going to throw it away in like a biohazard bin and burn it.
Right.
He's like, well, I'd rather have this. It's my leg. So the doctor gave it to him, said, here you go. And he decided, and, you know, he's kind of a freak and everything. He decided to invite some friends over and said, we're going to have a banquet and like try and taste human flesh. So cooked like half of his own leg.
God.
Yeah. And fuck, I don't know if you could ever verify whether this is true or not.
Yeah.
But there's the whole like a fucking story about it and his name and like where he lived. He lived in like Portland. He was like, yeah. So he was like, he cut little, and it was this fucking bizarre stomach turning story of like cutting little strips of it and stuff. And he was just going to serve it to his friends. And just like out of the sheer curiosity of what human flesh tasted like. You know, he checked with it and like he checked with law enforcement. Everybody else, they're like, well, it's totally ethical. It's your body. You can do with it what you want. And, you know, had to have the amputation anyway and had like a human barbecue. But apparently, like the reports from everybody and what he said is that a lot of people refer to, or there's like a lot of mythology about cannibalism that says, oh, people like, you know, some of the like tribal cultures who've partaken in cannibalism refer to humans as a long pig, et cetera, and say it tastes like pork, and they say it's not like that at all. He said it was much more akin to venison or like deer meat or elk or something like that. Didn't taste anything like beef, didn't taste anything like pork, didn't taste like chicken at all. Definitely a red meat, but it said much more like a game animal, like a hooved game animal. Somewhere between like horse and deer.
Weird.
I mean, it's not like they were like, you know, and fucking pass the salad. I think they just kind of like nibbled a little bit, see what it was like.
Right.
And like his open-minded friends, I think you referred to them as. Who?
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's pretty open-minded. I'm pretty sure I would pass on that invitation.
Yeah, I'd say no fucking thanks. I don't care how good of a friend like Billy Chops was. If he was like, come on over, eat my leg. Yeah, no thanks.
Yep.
Although I would watch the video.
That reminds me of, okay, I've got a couple of stories that are in my head now. One of them, and I don't know if this was like a, you know, bullshit viral thing, but I remember one about a guy that I can't remember what the deal, it may have been like diabetes or something like that, but he was going to have his leg amputated anyway, or his foot maybe amputated. So he was like, fuck that. That's going to be really expensive. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set up a homemade guillotine and offer people like they could buy in. Like, if you want to watch me chop my foot off, pay me this much and I'll include you in the stream. And apparently people like signed up just to watch this guy cut his foot off.
Fuck.
I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
Drop the blade.
Yeah, there's so much that's urban legend and so much not. It's like the people always talking about how like snuff films, right? How they don't exist.
Yeah.
You know, and it's just an urban legend, it's just a myth. But then you look at that case of, there was even a documentary of it on Netflix, Don't Fuck with Cats, right? About that guy in Canada who ended up stabbing that dude to death with an ice pick and like dismembering him on video. And they're like, well, there have been people who've, I guess, killed people on film, and there's been films of things. There's no such thing as a snuff film for profit. But he did pretty much the same thing, where it was like he uploaded it to a site for views, for kicks, for people to subscribe to. So maybe he didn't profit from it directly, but people made money off of this, you know, one guy, one ice pick. And he literally fucking stabbed a guy to death and fucking dismembered him on camera.
That's creepy.
Yeah, and it became an internet thing. And it's definitely blows that out of the water. I've always argued that. People say there's no such thing as a snuff film. I said, oh, yes, there is.
Oh, I'm sure. Do you remember the Faces of Death videos?
Sure.
Oh, fuck. Those were creepy.
Right. But the thing is about that, in the research I did on it, okay, here's the difference between a snuff film and like somebody dying on film. In Faces of Death, if you actually go back and watch that film, and it's hard to stomach, it's hard to watch again and again, but there's a couple instances of people dying on those. They're accidental deaths, right? They're like things that were caught on camera, like people falling out or jumping off of a building or a bridge. There's a guy who tries to wrestle an alligator with a rope, and the alligator pulls him in and chomps him and fucking kills him.
Mm-hmm.
And you see all of that. You see people dying. But the difference is, I guess, with what classifies or what categorizes as a snuff film is
deliberateness,
being done intentionally, deliberately, as I'm murdering somebody on a camera for your entertainment.
Right.
Therein lies the rub, right? There's where it becomes a snuff flick rather than a recorded death. Ergo, the whole Faces of Death films, they aren't snuff films.
Right.
They're just seeing images of people die on camera, which happens fairly often. I mean, think about Bud Dwyer, the whole instance, of that guy like shooting himself on camera on TV. That happened, but it's not necessarily a snuff film unless it's intended to be like this is sold for the purpose of people watching somebody die.
Yeah.
That was his name. Luca Magnotta was the guy who lived in Canada. And he was a fucking complete psychopath, obviously, but drugged up this student, this co-ed that he worked with and fucking at school and hacked him to death with an ice pack, chopped him to pieces, put it out on, one of these gore sites. Yeah, it fucking totally happened.
Ugh.
It's a great documentary. Yeah, it's called Don't Fuck with Cats. And he also did shit like stomp kittens to death on tape.
That's
yeah, it's sick. The guy's absolutely fucking sick. But I just think the one thing about it is, no matter how you slice it, no pun intended, the snuff films exist, and that's one of them.
Oh, I'm sure there are plenty out there.
Yeah, it's out there. And I don't know about plenty, but there's at least that one.
Yeah.
So how many do you need there to be for it to exist or not exist? One.
Yep.
I say one.
Wow, what was the other one? Another one I was thinking of. Gosh, I'm not going to sleep well tonight.
I'm sorry.
And, in Germany, I remember reading about this.
Mm-hmm.
A guy that like found another dude, and they both had like weird fetishes. But basically,
I know what you're talking about.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Like the penis?
Yeah.
Yeah. This guy chopped off. He found somebody that volunteered to do this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, yes, I'm in. I'm going to chop off your penis and eat it.
Right.
Sign me up. He found someone that wanted to do that on the internet, and they did it.
Right. Through a message board.
Yep.
Yeah, like, tied it off and stuff so it wouldn't like hurt or, or whatever. Yeah. BME, Pain Olympics, things like that. Yeah, that happened. That has happened. Mutilation, without a doubt, has absolutely happened all over the internet.
Oh, yeah.
Self-mutilation, self-body mutilation, things like that.
Right.
Not so many that have resulted in death.
Well, I think the other guy died, too, in this one, didn't he?
Oh, yeah. I think that one, yeah, they actually did. And his thing was like, if you kill me, fine. That's cool.
Right. He was cool with dying.
Yeah, he was cool with dying, but, in the meantime, I just want my, penis shut up off and...
Bon appetit.
That's gone a dark fucking hole.
Yeah.
It's not like we did it,
No.
We're just reporting the news, man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We should we're going to have to put up a disclaimer if we put this one out.
Yeah.
Like, for reals, kids, do not listen
Do
to
not.
this episode.
Do not do any of that shit.
Oh my God.
I think we're both on board with saying these are bad ideas.
Oh, horrible, horrible ideas.
Yeah, we're not saying at all like, hey, go out and do this.
Right.
Yeah, not by any fucking means. We're just reporting on the depraved pieces of shit who do these sort of things.
This one's a little lighter.
Okay.
I remember seeing something about like these identical twins
Mm-hmm.
who were both into like really into body modification.
Uh-huh.
And I'm 90% sure this one's bullshit. Again, this was like early internet days. They had pictures, but you know, people can do all kinds of shit.
Right.
But basically, they removed one of their arms and attached it to the other twin.
No.
It was like useless limb, but like they attached it where like genetically they're the same.
No.
So I think I was pretty sure it was bullshit, but it was kind of a fascinating thing to read.
That'd be a great story. Excellent story, especially if it started working. Like, woo-hoo.
Yeah, no, and they said that it was like basically, you know, a useless thing that was just hanging there.
Okay. So it wasn't like, you're scratching my balls, I'm scratching your balls.
No, it didn't do anything. It was just there.
Didn't do anything.
Yeah. But like, since they were genetically the same, like it wasn't like a problem.
No, you're wiping my ass. No, I'm wiping your ass. That's fucked up.
Yeah.
Anybody who'd even come up with that story is fucked up.
Should try and look that up. Let's see. How do I look that? Identical twins.
Yeah, give it a Google. See what you can find.
And arm.
Is it true?
Let's see. I don't know. Like sculpture your own body usually means going to the gym.
You're going to jail for what you're Googling. Body mutilation.
Ryan and Dave from Phoenix, Arizona are surely the most unique twins in the world. Do they not only share the same DNA, but their bodies also, literally, after getting tired of piercing tattoos and implants about 3 years ago, they went experimenting much heavier surgical modifications.
Oh, no. Is this real?
Ryan carries Dave's entire right arm. Both brothers are left-handed. Amputated at the shoulder and surgically reattached behind his right pectoral muscle.
Fuck. This is real?
I don't know.
Let's just hear the story.
Okay. Dave studied 2.5 years in pre-med at Queen's University in Kingston, and with the help of 2 practitioners and 2 assistants, he met there and online. The brothers accomplished the procedure. It was obvious that no clinic would have done this. The surgery was made under local anesthesia, as the brothers did not have the facilities for safe administration of general anesthesia. Using an ace bandage, the blood was slowly squeezed out of Dave's arm. The arm was tourniqueted as high up on the shoulder as it could be, and lidocaine was injected into the exsanguinated veins.
Yeah.
I don't know if I pronounced that right or not.
Yeah, I think so. Full of blood.
Yep. An amputation knife cut the skin and muscles, and bone saw finished the job. Bleeders were like, and the wound was cleared up. The arm removal procedure took place in about 40 minutes. Meanwhile, the other practitioner and his assistant prepared Ryan. Veins and arteries were modeled for the future arm to have a blood supply.
Who are these assistants and doctors?
Yeah, I don't know.
And that's what I want to know. Somebody's dentist?
I don't know. But some of the subcutaneous tissue was peeled up to merge as smoothly as possible. The healing went very well.
I bet.
In a month, the transplant and Dave's stump were okay. I like Dave's stump.
We're okay. That's what that's the word they use. It seems Okay.
As the brothers are monozygotic twins, they have the same DNA. There were no rejection problems. This does not stop here.
It's okay. Oh, man.
Ryan carries also an alien finger. A center joint of one of Dave's fingers was removed, along with the skin and about 1 inch of overhanging tendon. Ryan's finger was split to the end of the first joint, and the extra joint was inserted. Ryan even has feeling in the tip of that finger as the nerves resulted to be compatible. I guess, to be compatible. When Dave's finger's tip was put back on, the lack of tendon made it loose mobility, and the finger tends to bang. That's why Dave carries it bandaged. In fact, he's planning to remove the finger altogether.
This is awfully detailed. It's awfully detailed for not being real.
Who fucking knows? He's planning to remove the finger altogether to the wrist.
Okay.
That will let us shift the little finger over without much apparent scarring, giving us a very realistic 3-fingered hand, said Dave. Surprisingly, the brothers have very regular jobs.
Yeah, dominoes. Fucking. Wait.
Let's see. We make a great living in the traditional world. I'm not going to say the name of our company, but suffice it to say that we're the 6th largest producer of adult entertainment software in North America. The Ferrari Dino 246 that Ryan is leaning on right now is a $50,000 car.
No.
That may not seem like a lot of money, but we paid it off in one day. Not all freaks are punk kids, Dave told BME. So BME, okay. Who's BME?
BME, yeah. Body modification.
Okay. Holy shit. Fuck.
Yeah, be careful on those BME links.
It's almost over.
Okay.
But for the future, we've got some genital work planned. That's pretty exciting.
Oh, no! No! No. That can't be real. That can't.
No, probably not.
What website are you? What website?
I'll send you the link. I want to send you the link.
Okay, you gotta send me the link. It's got to be creepypasta or some shit. There's no way. But fuck, I don't know. I could see like you or I writing that and just laughing the whole time we were.
Right.
It's a genius fucking story. It's hilarious, but I can't imagine it. I can't imagine having not seen that anywhere else except for you finding it. Yeah, it should be on, whatever the new version of Jerry Springer is or whatever.
Yeah.
That's not, well, it doesn't work, but it fits. Not very handy, but
but bump. Now we just can't wait to see where exactly the penis part or part of it or the testicles of one brother will hang on the body of the other.
No, it's gotta be horseshit. It's gotta be
They're like
horseshit.
pictures.
If it's not, we have to get together everything that we own and pawn it and get these guys on the show and get them to come to KC and fucking we'll take them to the studio and we have to hear and we got to do a live broadcast on that one. Absolutely. Because that's where the show needs to go.
Ryan and Dave.
Fuck the music of tomorrow. Ryan and Dave's penis exchange.
Surely that's happened by now.
It's got to have. What's the date on that article?
The date on this one says August 7th, 2007.
Oh, yeah. I'm sure they've already been to their daughter's weddings by now and started a frozen yogurt company or something. Oh, that's fucked up.
Oh, here, okay. Body modification hoaxes.
Okay, I'm sure that's it.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
But it was like this read that I was like, what the fuck?
That's still fucking hilarious, though. It's a good one. Damn good one. Beats the shit out of a crop circle. I'll tell you that. Much more believable.
Yeah.
I would buy it. Even if it's not true, we have to find the writer of that article and we have to have them on.
Right. We should track them down.
That's brilliant and hilarious. Thinking of all the different scenarios that must have gone through their mind. Hey, Bill. Hey, Dave. What's going on? Nothing.
You want to switch balls?
Yeah.
We should switch balls.
I like your balls. I mean, you like mine? Yeah, they're okay. So I was thinking, like, I don't know. What? What? Just say it, man. Well, I mean, just like, I don't know. Like,
my wife told me not to do it after the arm. She said no. I'm sorry, man.
She's like, you suck at volleyball now. There you go. But, if the balls fit. Fuck. Yeah, I gotta be this writer. Sounds like you make a great friend.
Yeah, we should try and track them down. That would be fun as hell.
Yep.
No, it was apparently a April Fool's joke.
Oh, right on. It's a good one. Not that I ever really fell for it. But back to the point, it's not that it hasn't happened. People do self-mutilation all the time. We've seen all sorts of things like that, like body modification, hanging by hooks and shit like that. And
right.
I don't know. I've gone down the path a bit. I got my nipples pierced.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
I did know that.
You were there? No, you weren't.
We swapped nipples, remember?
Yeah, right. We had the same DNA. No, yeah. That hurt like a motherfucker, by the way.
Yeah, it never seemed like that would feel good to me.
It didn't. It increased the sensitivity of my nipples, I think, for a while. I took them out, though. The big thing was, after I got my nipples pierced, I went up to Jackson Hole, not like the Jackson Hole, but in Missouri, there's another Jackson Hole.
Right, down by the river.
Yeah, down by the river.
Yeah.
There's like a 30-foot cliff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I went up there really high and went on top of that cliff and jumped off.
Mm.
And when I jumped off, one of my nipple rings blew out when I hit the water at a high velocity. That hurt probably 10 times more than actually getting them pierced.
Mm.
And I was bleeding and fucking screaming at the fact that I lost that nipple ring and it blew out of my body.
Wow.
And hurt so fucking bad that I took the other one out that night. I was like, fuck it. I never want to experience that again. I imagine it was like the piercing was like a very smooth needle, very surgical procedure going on in a sterile environment with a friend who was holding my hand and et cetera, et cetera. But like jumping off a cliff and having it blown out of your chest is a totally different thing.
Yep.
Yeah, traumatizing and painful.
I could imagine.
And that was not good. And I said, I never want that to happen again. So I took both my nipple rings out.
We've got our listeners are now abreast.
Yes.
I appreciate that you were there with me when I got my Prince Albert. That was kind of you.
Yeah, well, did what I could do. And I'm glad we shared the same DNA.
Right. Holy shit.
Better let him out of the can.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, God, I can never do that.
Mm-mm.
I am thinking about getting stretches in both. I really am. Not big ones. Not like Coke bottle size or anything like that.
Right.
Just some barrels. It was like, why? Why would you do that? What does it mean? It doesn't mean anything. I like it. I just kind of like the look of it. I think it's cool.
Yeah.
Just for a couple barrels. I mean, fuck. It's 2022, people.
Yeah. I mean, that stuff's so common now.
It is.
It's not the way it used to be. Everybody's sleeved out. And
yeah, exactly. I saw a meme somebody posted tonight that was like, it was a circus sideshow, of a cartoon. It was like, see the untattooed man. It was a guy in the Speedo, just like with his skin. Going, flexing. It's like no tattoos.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, no shit. That would be a rarity.
This shit's going to be the perfect lead in for our next guest.
It will, and I don't want to give it away. And I almost said that earlier, but you fucked it up.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I haven't said what his name is.
No, you haven't, and we won't.
We'll just keep that mystery, but look forward to it. It's going to be freaky.
A teaser. Yep. What else is going on, man? I ain't doing shit. I'm up for a bit.
Yeah, I got to piss.
You want to do that and come back?
I don't care.
Right.
All right.
You go pee. I'm going to smoke, and I'll meet you in 5.
All right. Bye. You still here?
Oh, yes. So, funny story.
Okay.
The whole time that we've been doing this recording, I really seriously thought that my daughter had gone to bed. She is not. She is sitting 8 feet away from me.
She's been listening to the whole thing.
Playing video games. She is sitting 8 feet away from me playing video games on mute.
Listening.
So I told her, I was like, okay, yeah, I don't care if you play, it's just me and Matt talking. You can go ahead and play like Alien Resurrection or whatever you're playing on Xbox. Just keep it muted so I can hear. She's been fucking whisper quiet, just feet away from me. She has been listening to this entire fucking conversation.
Jesus.
I got up to go take a leak, and my back is to her in the studio. Like, I can't see her or anything. I'm like facing, the opposite corner of the living room. Yeah, she's been back there the entire time that we've been talking.
Well, shit. That's not what you want.
But I I got up to take a leak, and I got up, just to step outside for me to get some air, and it was like, oh my God. She turned and looked at me with these huge eyes, and she's like, so what happened? Was it real?
Don't tell your mom.
That's exactly what I said. I said, don't tell your mother. She's okay. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, she's 13. Okay, I mean, she's not like innocent, but not like 7.
Right.
Probably not going to have nightmares.
But if you do, come get me up, not your mom.
I look over, I was like, holy shit, I had no idea you were sitting there, and you've been sitting there this whole time for like 2 hours listening to us talking about people mutilate themselves and commit cannibalism.
We're talking about how we need to put a disclaimer on the episode.
Right? I've taken a 5-minute break. Just I'm still choked up about how fucking ridiculous this is. Oh my God, my kids are gonna need so much therapy. So much therapy. It's gonna be so expensive.
Oh shit.
Yeah, you see that. But yeah, I just turn around and see these big bright eyes, and she's playing Xbox, and she's like, looks at me, she's like, "So was it real or was it?"
None of it was real.
No, it's all a story. It's none.
After the COVID stuff, none of it was real. Daddy just made it up.
No, honey. It's all just that's a story. Just shh.
Oh, you know she's gonna be telling my kid to listen to this episode. We're both gonna be in trouble.
Oh, fuck. I'm checking your browser history. I swear to God, don't look any of this up. Don't ever look any of this. Huh? Come here.
I'm playing Wordle.
You're playing Wordle. Okay. Just keep playing Wordle and don't enter cannibalism in Wordle. Oh my God. Yeah, it's probably no worse than some other things. No, it is worse. It's worse.
It's pretty bad.
So worse. We're still going to publish it.
Jesus.
She's 13. She's 13, folks. Think about what you were doing when you were 13. Don't judge me. Don't judge me. I'm a good dad.
You are.
Cannibalism. I wish I would have seen my own face when I turned around. She's still there. Okay. So what else is going on?
Thought I was really winning with I'm sure like the mic picked it up because it's just a few feet away, my Austin Powers piss. It's just like it never ends.
Evacuation complete. Well, what do you do?
Did you see your life flash before your eyes?
I know. I still didn't.
Or did everything slow down?
When
we are dead, this will be like their favorite episode.
Probably will be. Yeah, she's going to be like 30 being like, I remember that.
I bet you do.
So what else is going on?
I don't know if we can top what we've been talking about. Jesus
we
Christ.
Can't leave it at this, though, can we? Can we do it? You've been listening.
Good night, Dandies.
Good night, Danny. You're listening. John traumatizing his child. Fuck.
This is the moment they'll use this in court.
Right. Oh, sorry.
Ladies and gentlemen of your jury, what you're about to hear is not pleasant.
It's disturbing. All right, man.
Yeah, I think we're running out of steam.
Yeah, I think so. I'm tired.
Yeah.
You think you got enough?
I don't know. Yeah, I can make something out of this.
I think we got some funny shit in there.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to Undetermined, the podcast. Cannibalism.
Yes.
And children listening in about cannibalism.
We did it. We've hit a new low.
We've hit a very new low, depraved, gory.
Right. And remember, everyone, hit that like button. Subscribe.
Subscribe, like, love, share. Make sure you share. Thank you for listening to Undetermined, the podcast. Special guest, none.
Yeah. We haven't done this for a long time.
We haven't, but it was fun. It was fun to do back to basics.
Yeah, it was.
I enjoyed it because we never get to just fucking hang out and bullshit and talk about crazy shit. And it was great. I had a good time talking to you, man. And I miss you.
This is why we started doing it. I miss you too, man.
It is. It is. This is exactly why we started, and this is exactly why we're going to keep going. So thanks for listening, everybody. We love you. Tune in soon. We do have a bunch of good guests coming up.
We got a lot of good stuff coming up. Don't take the little hiatus as a sign that we're dropping off. We've got some really awesome guests lined up. I promise.
Just COVID shit and things like that. But yes, a lot of good stuff coming up. A lot of good guests even on the books. So take care. Have a great week.
Love you guys.
We love you. Have a good night.
Bye.